Hello you lovely people and welcome. Well, I've done it and bought the IndiaFoxtEcho Panavia Tornado IDS or Interdictor Strike. Now, as you can see, we get three versions. These, you need to remember, the base unit is the Interdictor Strike, just subtle differences for different roles. So we've got the Tornado ECR, which is Electronic Combat and Reconnaissance. The main mission for this variant was suppression of enemy air defences, or SEAD, and they carry the AGM-88 harms. Because we've retired ours in the RAF, I forget that other nations are still using the aircraft. And then we move on to the GR1, which, yeah, as I say, is just the Interdictor Strike with differences for the missions the RAF wanted to use them for. They were used also for the suppression of enemy air defences in a separate setup. And that mission was also funnily used with the F3s apparently for SEAD, which I find very strange as that's the air defence variant. But yeah, this is our multi-mission variant. And then you've got the IDS, which the Germans and the Italians used for multi-mission strike. So let's have a look at the livery. So we'll start with the ECR. So we have the Italian prototype, the Italian Air Force, and the Luftwaffe. So that makes sense, being the nations that use them. And the prototype is a nice addition. If we go back to the RAF GR1, geez, okay, quite a few liveries, wasn't expecting that. Okay, so we've got Royal Air Force, various serial numbers. We've got a 9 squadron there. Just going by what I can see, Gulf War setup. Come down. Royal Saudi Air Force, as the Saudis use the same variant as what we used, and they bought them from us a number of years ago. And then we have the obligatory Raspberry Ripple scheme, which is a nice addition. You don't get that with many of the packages. And these are more modern grey, and these are more triple TE era style camo. If you're not sure what triple TE is, it's the Tri-National Tornado Training Establishment, which was based at RF Cottesmore in Rutland, and trained all three partner nations on the type before going on to their respective OCUs and then onto their serving squadrons. Which is a shame there isn't a scenery for that. But I do have the what was then freeware RAF Honington, so I'll be flying from there. And then we've got IDS, so we'll look at the liveries. So we've got Italian Air Force, and the later grey scheme. I do like the old school triple T era with the big old Italian roundels on them. It really does give an old school vibe on them. And of course there's a Gulf War livery, and then back to special colours, and then we've got prototype, which is nice, the MRCA as it was known back then. So that's a nice addition. Then we've got Luftwaffe in their dark green, which they had a big flight based out at Holloman Air Force Base, where they did a lot of multinational training, and obviously their more modern grey get up. And then we've got the Marine Flieger, and I always remember this one because I don't know why I always like the scheme on this, the light grey with the dark grey on top. So yeah, plenty of liveries for you to go through. And then you've obviously got the subtle differences on the airframes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in each one, and and do a walk around. I believe all cockpits for all three variants are exactly the same, so it's just external differences. So let's jump in the ECR and have a look. Well, let's just start by covering the cockpit as we are already sat here. Beautifully modelled, I will say, and textured very nicely. Nice wear and tear in the footwells, on the control column and on the panels. Lots of switches that are clickable. It's been a minute since I've flown a Tornado, so it's going to take me a little while to remember how to get this thing started, and we'll come to that when I get to it, I guess. But yeah, we've got the moving map at the front there. What would be, I'm guessing, an RWR, and amongst other things. But yeah, plenty of stuff in the cockpit to keep busy. Wing sweep lever, throttles obviously, flaps there, and emergency landing gear, obviously landing gear controls here. We've got slats and flap positions there. What we've got here, landing light switches, and then left and right fuel cocks for the engines, reverse thrust override, and arrestor hook push button there, master arm, and these are all our auto throttle, autopilot functions there. Attention getter, yep. Up front controller, you've got everything that controls the HUD, just to make different changes. Your millibar setting for the altimeter. Crikey. So altimeter, speed in Mach and knots, VVI, radal, and gear indicator there, artificial horizon, HSI, and then you've got your engine gauges here, RPMs, temperatures, all that good stuff. And then fuel here, hydraulics, good old clock, annunciator panel. Got down the bottom here, so that's our brakes, hydraulic pressure for the brakes. And then obviously you've got your IFF and all your engine controls and stuff down here. Internal lighting. Wow, amazing how much you forget when you don't use it. Yeah, so that's all good. And then further back here, you've got different volume settings, your bomb safety release, crash bar, oxygen lever there, your radio. Here we have, I can't even remember what this thing is. Okay, so indicators for your dampers, rudder, spoilers. Okay, and then obviously it's going to be your autopilot. Terrain following, I believe there is a basic type of terrain following included with this, I could be wrong. And then AFDS bike guard, self-test activating. Okay, so this is the front cockpit. Looks very nice, very nicely modelled, at least. So yeah, excellent stuff. Let's have a look at the Wizzo / nav seat. So we have our two big screens either side here, our radar / moving map scope there, our altimeter, speed, down here that's obviously our controller for locking onto targets and stuff. Some of this is clickable down here, I believe it's only limited at the moment. Backup artificial horizon, I'm guessing is still the RWR. Unclickables, unclickable, annunciator panel, and we've got volume controls as such here. CVR mode selectors, all our display and align knobs there, our SAR mode selector. So much that I've forgotten, Jesus. Internals here again, lighting. We've got a VHF and UHF radio there, and over this side we have hose jettison, canopy jettison, and not quite sure what that one is. Mapping radar controls. Okay. Like I say, it's been a while since I've flown one of these, and this is only a first look. I've not even looked at the manual yet. So, again, nicely modelled, nicely detailed. So, let's jump out and have a look at the aircraft external. So you can see all tags and bags are included, even a setup with our AIM-9s fuel tanks. I believe those are BOS pods. Not 100% sure, they're countermeasures anyway. And we've got a step ladder. We've got our canopy strut there. A lovely lovely story I was told by a Tornado pilot years ago was that the seal between the main canopy and the front A-frame there, it had to inflate, obviously, to pressurise. So when it was parked up, that was deflated, meaning there was a slight gap between the two parts there, and if it had been raining heavily, the front cockpit would be flooded. Whether there's actually any truth behind that, I don't know why he would have lied to me, but there you go. It was extra tribulations to go through just to fly this beast, but externally it looks fantastic. I love the weathering, the prototype livery, it looks fantastic. Yeah, I've done a really good job. So let's have a look at externals on the GR1. So I went with the 17 Squadron livery on GR1. One thing of note is that this is the GR1. It still has the cannon. GR1A had the cannon emitted for the Tornado Infrared Reconnaissance System, or TIRS. So it's not the 1A, this is just GR1. And again, looking around the aircraft, not too much dissimilar. We have our pod under the front of the aircraft there. I believe that's the only real external difference. Again, this is only first looking at everything. I'm not actually going into any detail here. This is just my first initial reaction to it. So yeah, the livery looks fantastic. Good old 17. Can always rely on them to evaluate anything that's put in their way. So let's jump into the IDS. We'll choose a Luftwaffe livery for that one. And of course I went with the Marine Flieger or Marine Flieger. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Just such a vivid livery from my childhood, either seeing them at Mildenhall Air Fetes or sitting at Marham, or even coming into Lakenheath on a weekend visit, or that such thing, like it used to happen back in the 90s. A lot's changed since then, but back then you would get weekend visitors to certain air bases, and they'd fly out on the Monday. We used to call them courtesy calls, but yeah, don't get that so much these days. Anyway, the grime on this is, well, you can see this, it looks like this aircraft's been through quite a bit. Obviously firing of the cannons, you've got your streak marks there, reverse thrust, has made a nice mess of the base of the fin there, as it would be with pretty much all of the liveries. But yeah, looks fantastic. And again, only minimal differences between the ECR and the GR1, but all the same, there are subtle differences, so 3 separate models does make sense. Anyway, let's jump in, and hopefully after I've got one started, I'm just going to fly from RAF Honington to RAF Coningsby just to do a can't really call it a test flight, but just to see how it handles and things. Yeah, so I'm going to get back into a GR1. So I've gone with 9 Squadron quite simply for the historical aspect of it all. 9 Squadron were the first operational Tornado squadron anywhere in the world, and 9 Squadron reformed on the Tornado at RAF Honington in August of 1982. So big historical implementations with delivery, with the aircraft and with the station. So I've got it started up. We are just going to do, as I say, a quick flight from Honington to RAF Coningsby, where I just plonk it down. As I say, this is just a first look. I'm not going in depth with it all, so let's get the ball rolling. My way around here now. It's been a while since I've flown from Honington. It's this way. Yeah, here we go. Before we get rolling properly, I'm going to go outside and show you the wing sweeping and thrust reversing and things like that. So all wing sweeping is done via flat movement, and the sounds are just a little bit too loud. They need reeling in a little bit. So if we do the flap up, first stage of sweep, and then up again we get the second stage, and if we do up again we get full sweep back. Now if we bring it back, so down into the neutral position, okay, so this is obviously forward, wings fully forward, flaps down 1 notch, we get the first stage of flap and slats. Second stage, even more, and then the last is the full landing flap. Now, obviously you can see that we've got our spoilers on the wings to help us roll, as well as the elevators. We'll check out the reverse thrust. Okay, so we've got buckets. Okay, it's a matter of just throttling forward, bringing it back down, and then going back out of thrust reverse. But for some reason when I come out of thrust reverse, I have to come back in and sort that left engine out and bring that back in, otherwise the spoilers stay up. A bit strange. If we do our air brakes, either side of the fin, okay, And let's do sounds with the brakes on. Yeah, they seem okay. Let's throttle up a little bit more. Okay, and I'm at maximum throttle at the moment, military, and no afterburner, as you have to engage that separately. So I'm just going to bring the flaps up. Okay, into the first stage. Let's taxi out onto the runway. All the button sounds, all internal sounds seem a little bit much at the moment. I found that the APU also is the same level inside as it is outside, so that's a bit strange. But obviously these are only little things that can be fixed as and when they feel like it. Let's turn the old dial here, see what happens. Okay, so zeroed that out. Okay, so all is good to go. We've been given the go ahead by the Wizzo. We've got our menu here, just like Jester in the F14. So yeah, we'll close that. I'm not going to use my Wizzo at all for this. Just going to fly to Coningsby now. So let's throttle all the way up. Get the engine spool up slowly. Your dials. Okay. Okay, let them settle. Okay, brakes off. And afterburners lit. Pull back on the stick. Wait for it to bite. And we're up. Gear up. Out burners. Trim out. Flap up. Should have put flaps up ages ago. Okay, so we're going to head north. Throttle back now.
400 knots.
Okay, we're going to get call outs from the nav while I'm flying. Okay, just head out towards Wash. Check trim gauges. Our trim gauges are all here. Yaw, roll and pitch. So trimmed out nicely.
5,000 feet.
Thanks, bud, but I do have a pair of eyes. Sweet
500 knots.
Arm down there. But we could get down and do a fly past. It's quite a sturdy flight model, to be fair. Very responsive. The authority is good. Don't want to overstress it, obviously. Trims out quite nicely as well. Pass over the main part of the station here, the eastern end of it. Pull up. Nice. Okay. Moving maps going along quite nicely. It's all slowly starting to come back. The last time I flew a Tornado was back in FSX days. That's a long time ago. And that was the Just Flight GR1, of which they also have their own variant coming out for MSFS at some point. Whether it be out in time for this or for 2024, I don't know. Try a zoom climb. Burners on. Build up a bit of speed. And start slow.
600 knots.
Climb. Check the fuel stat. It's okay for now, not too far from Coningsby.
$500 knots.
And go for full sweep back.
$25,000 feet. Fuel 1000.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to bring the throttles back. Okay, full military now. Don't use too much fuel. Get to 40,000 and then I'm going to make my way back down.
40,000 feet.
Thank you very much. And roll over the top, and we're going to come back down. Okay, at which point I'm going to start slowing the aircraft down. If I get too fast, put dive brakes out.
Mach 0.8.
Yeah, I realise we're getting close. Don't worry.
Mach 0.9. Mach 1.
Whoops. Sorry guys.
$20,000 feet.
Clear the alarm.
15,000 feet.
Stop bringing the wings forward now.
Ten 10,000 feet. Fuel 900.
Okay, thank you. Right, so you've got to look out for Coningsby now. EGXC. Where are you? I know you're out here somewhere. Let's put the TACAN in.
Five 5,000 feet.
Transmit, receive. Got it on the moving map anyway. And if you didn't realise, the aircraft actually comes with a 248-page manual, so I hope you're ready for some light reading. And yeah, it's going to take me a little while to get through that. Once I do, I will hopefully start making some demo videos. If you are interested in that sort of thing, save you going through the manual.
300 knots.
I do it so you don't have to. Or you could probably, I'm sure there are some real Tornado pilots out there that are doing reviews and demo videos of this anyway, but you know, it's all good. So we will do a run and brake off to the left into the circuit, bring the wings forward, get the gear down, flaps down, and then see if we can land it.
Three 300 knots.
I know I broke way too early there, but get down. Gear down.
You are fast.
I know that. I'm trying to slow down, thank you. Get it on finals. Let's do this.
$500 feet. 350 feet. 250 feet. 200 feet. 100 feet. 50 feet.
Okay. Thrust reverse on. Right then, we are down at Coningsby. I understand that wasn't the perfect flight and I probably got some things wrong, but like I say, this is a first look and just trying to remember anything at all really. And yeah, first impressions are quite impressed with that. I really am. Very nicely done, very nicely modelled. Shush. Shh. Talking. Shush. Jesus. Yeah, so I will do a review video of this at some point. It's just a matter of learning some stuff that I've obviously missed out, and everything worked that I needed for the flight, and I'm very happy that I managed to actually get this thing started and up in the air. Alright, so if you tagged along and got this far, thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.